Hi everyone, it's Hakan here. I hope you're all doing well and that you're having a great weekend. In this video, I'll just go over the answers to the Bloomberg Terminal assignment that I set to you. So just to get started, here you guys can see the terminal functions, and I've already provided you with these functions, but I just thought I'd quickly go over it just to remind ourselves that these are the important functions that we use in Bloomberg. And next, we have the Bloomberg Terminal assignment that I gave you guys. So it consists of Part A and Part B. Part A looks at Tesla, and this utilizes the functions for companies. And then we have Part B, which is Turkey, and this utilizes the functions for the countries. So to start off with, we'll look at Part A and we'll look at question one. So what percentage of Tesla's revenue came from China in 2019? So if we move over to the terminal, here we are. So first of all, like I said in the session, we want to start off with type in Tesla and then choosing the Tesla Inc. here as the security. And now all the functions that we type are going to be related to Tesla. So the first question was in relation to revenue. So we can find revenue in the financial statements. So we have to type in the function FA, which is financial analysis, and we click enter. When it loads up, we are interested in segments, geographical segments. So we click segments here. And then we click by geography. And then we look on the revenue column, and we are interested in the year 2019. So we look in the 2019 column and we look at China. Here we see the value, but we are interested in the percentage, like the question asks, and we see that it is 12.1%. And this means that 12.1% of Tesla's revenue comes from its sales to China. So moving on to the second question. We have how many suppliers does Tesla have? What percentage of Panasonic Corp's revenue comes from its sales to Tesla? So to be able to answer this question, we need to look into the supply chain of Tesla. So we type in SPLC, which looks at supply chain analysis, and we click enter. And when it loads up, we see that Tesla has 221 suppliers. So that answers the first part of the question. And then the second part is the Panasonic Corp that we're interested in. And we see that the revenue is 3.07%. So 3.07% of Panasonic's revenue comes from its sales to Tesla. And that's the answer to the second part of the second question. So moving on, we look at the third question, which asks which country has the highest ownership share of Tesla and what is its percentage? So moving back to the terminal, to answer this question, we need to look at OWN, which is the function for ownership summary. And we are interested in this area. So we look at top geographic ownership, and the question asked for the country with the highest ownership of Tesla, and we see here it is the United States, and it is 56.02%. So this is the answer to the fourth question. And moving back, so last of all, we've got find a recent news story of Tesla. How will it impact the company? There's no specific answer to this question. I just wanted you to find something that would be relevant to the company and just think about how it would impact the company in the future. So construct a bit of a narrative. So we'll just have a look at what I found. So moving back to the terminal, and if we write CN, which is the function for individual company news, click enter. And then we can move up the slider for higher importance news. And then if we scroll down to find the news that I use, I looked at this news story. And if we click on it and wait for it to load up. So this article discusses Tesla's teaming up with Swissquote online banking to provide leasing services in Switzerland. I found this article very interesting, as when I was reading through, I noticed that apparently in Switzerland, leasing is a popular way to finance the purchase of a new car. And if Tesla is able to use this strategy effectively, they may be able to increase their revenues from Switzerland, which we know will show up directly in the income statement and help them to increase sales, which will enable them to potentially capture a greater market share in the Swiss car market and increase their market power. We will now move on to the second part, so part B of the assignment. And part B looked at Turkey. And the first question was, what was the total trade in millions of dollars between Italy and Turkey in 2015? So to be able to answer this, we need to look at trade volume in Bloomberg, and we do this using the function ECTR and clicking enter. And here, and then here we see the United States is selected, but we are interested in Turkey, so we type in Turkey and select it here. And so it is currently ordered by total trade, which is fine. It's exactly as what we want. And then if we move down, it is currently in the year 2019, but we are like the question is interested in 2015. So we choose 2015, wait for it to update. And once it updates, we find Italy, and we see that Italy, the total trade between Italy and Turkey is roughly $18 billion. And that's the answer to the first question. And then the second question is, what is Turkey's current inflation rate? Moving back to the terminal, to be able to answer this, we use the function IFMO, which looks at which is the inflation monitor. Just waiting for it to load up. And as immediately we see that it is listed for the G10 countries. Turkey is not part of the G10, so we need to change this, and we change it to EMEA. And once it updates this list here, we can scroll down, and then we see Turkey here. So the question wants the current inflation rate. So we see that the headline inflation rate is 14% in Turkey, so it's quite high. And the last release was on 2020-11/30, which is the 30th of November 2020. Moving on to the third question. On 22/08/2018, what was the exchange rate between Turkey and the US? To be able to look at the exchange rate, we need to use the function FXC, which is the currency rates matrix. So we click on that. And once that loads up, so we have EMEA selected here as a basket, which is fine because Turkey is included. And then, but however, we want to change the date because the question asks for 22/08/2018. So we click on this, and we find the correct date. So we change the year to 2018. And then we change the month to August. And then it is the 22nd. So here. And wait for it to update. And here we see the Turkish lira with the different exchange rates for different currencies, but we are interested in the US dollar. So we look down here. So here we see that the price of 1 Turkish lira in USD is 0.16526. So 1 Turkish lira by 0.16526 US dollars at this date. And that is what we are after in question 3. Moving on to question 4. Question 4 asks, what is Turkey's outstanding debt in TRY? What percentage of that is to BlackRock? To be able to find the answer to this question, we need to use the function debt, because this function looks at sovereign debt ownership. So we click enter and wait. Once it loads up, this is currently got the United States of America. We want to change that to Turkey. Wait for it to update, and here this is the answer to the first part of the question, which asks for the Turkey's outstanding debt in TRY, and here it is. And then it asks about what percentage of that is to BlackRock, and we can go to asset managers and look at BlackRock. Here we see it's second with this value, so roughly 14 billion TRY. We could use this number and the previous number to find a percentage. However, Bloomberg does it for us automatically, and here we see it is 0.87%. So BlackRock owns 0.87% of Turkey's national debt, and that's the answer to question 4 for the second part of question 4. And finally, we have question 5, which is what is Turkey's unemployment rate as of April 2020? And to find this in the terminal, we type in ECOW, which is the Economic Data Watch, and click enter. And again, we have to change this here, the country to Turkey, wait for its update, and then if we scroll down, we find the labour market and then the unemployment rate. In the question asks for April 2020. So we move down to April 2020, and we see that the unemployment rate was 12.8%. And that's the answer to the final question. I hope you guys have found this video useful, and it has answered any of the questions that you were stuck on. And I'll see you all in the next FinMod session. Take care.